Today I'm going to introduce you quality and performance. The first content is quality management. In here we are going to talk about quality and defect, costs of quality, total quality management, Six Sigma. In the next topic, statistical process control, we will discuss variation of outputs, performance measures, sampling, the sample mean and range, categories of variation, control charts. In control charts, we will discuss the basic concepts, the type 1 error and type 2 error, variable control charts, attribute control chart, and R chart and X bar chart. Quality is a term used by customers to describe their general satisfaction with a service or product. Okay, defect means any instance when a process fails to satisfy its customer. Okay. There are several types of costs of quality. Prevention costs, costs associated with preventing defects before they happen. Appraisal costs, costs incurred when the firm assesses the performance level of its processes. Internal failure costs, costs resulting from defects that are discovered during the production of a service or product. External failure costs, costs that arise when a defect is discovered after the customer receives the service or products. Okay. So, in this cost, some companies can deceive customers intentionally. You know what I'm saying? Okay? There are several cases all over the world. In the case, the customers can feel this way. Okay, they betrayed us. Okay? So, after feeling the unpleasant things, customer may not get back to the companies. You know, right? These are the concepts of total quality management and Six Sigma. They are very important. Also, we can call this TQM. TQM is a philosophy that stresses three principles: customer satisfaction. This is number one. Number two, employee involvement and continuous improvement for achieving high level of process performance and quality. Okay. Six Sigma, a comprehensive and flexible system for achieving, sustaining, and maximizing business success by minimizing defects and variability in the processes. Okay, the number one is defects. The number two is variability. Okay, I will explain more details about TQM and Six Sigma. This figure illustrates the basic concepts of TQM. In the center, you can see customer satisfaction. This is the heart of the TQM. Okay? In the left half circle, you can see employment environment. Okay. In the right half circle, you can see continuous improvement. Okay. In the outside of the circle, you can see service, product design, process design, purchasing, benchmarking, problem solving tools. These are suffering TQM. Okay. So let's see more details about the three factors. Customer satisfaction. We can consider conformance to specifications and value. Value is the difference between the benefits and the price. Fitness for use. This can be considered as the original quality concept. Support. We need to do some services after sale. Psychological impressions. We need to consider some brand images, product images, and some atmospheres in our company. Also, do you know the meaning of specifications? I think that the specifications are very crucial in the remaining lectures. I will explain more details. Secondly, employee involvement. We need to consider cultural change, quality at the source. Teams, employee empowerment. We can consider problem-solving teams, special purpose teams, self-managed teams. I need to explain more concepts in here. Okay? Quality at the source. What does it mean by that? At the source, we should be responsible for the quality. Okay? We should not pass our mistakes to the following people. Okay? On this spot, at this moment, we need to be responsible for quality insurance. Okay? That's the meaning of quality at the source. Also, in order to be more responsible for quality, we need to consider teams. Also, we need to give the teams some authority, empowerment. Okay? And the third one, continuous improvement. Kaizen. It originated from the Japan. Okay? And problem solving tools. So in here, we can consider control chart and process capability analysis. And we need to implement them based on this procedure. Plan, do, study, act cycle. Let me explain Six Sigma methodologies. As I mentioned before, we are tackling defects and variability, right? So, on the left, the process average okay. Okay? Too much variation. No defects in here, but variation is causing a problem. Okay? So, on the right, processor variability, okay. But process off the target. Okay? So we need to center the process and we need to reduce the variability spread. Then we will get the process on target with low variability, as you can see here. This is the basic concept of Six Sigma. Okay? Remember, defect and variability. That's it. The goal of achieving low rate of defective output by developing processes whose mean output for performance measure is plus minus 6 standard deviations sigma from the limits of the design specifications for the service or products. Actually, this Six Sigma concept originated from Motorola in the USA. Okay? Goal of achieving low rate of defective output. This is the purpose. How? By developing processes whose mean output for a performance measure, okay, mean output is plus minus 6 standard deviations from the limits of the design specification. Okay, so there is a design specifications here. Okay, this is upper specification, this is a lower specification. So we have the process. The distribution process is like this. Then this is the target, a nominal value. So from this target, the distance to the limit will be 6 sigma. Also, from this target to the upper specification limit, the distance is 6 sigma. This is the original concept of Six Sigma methodology. Okay? As I told you, this was from Motorola. Okay, acceptance sampling. The application of statistical techniques to determine if a quantity of material from a supply should be accepted or rejected based on the inspection or test of one or more samples. Okay, so what is the level? What is the deadline? This is called acceptable quality level. The acronym is AQL. The quality level desired by the consumer. Okay? So, let's see this example. The suppliers are providing fan blades, okay? And this firm is receiving fan blades from this supplier. But they will do some sampling, blade sampling. Then they will check the AQL. And if the samples pass the AQL test, okay, we will accept the blades, otherwise reject. That's the basic concept of acceptance sampling. What is SPC? Statistical Process Control. The application of statistical techniques to determine whether a process is delivering what the customer wants. Okay, we are using statistical techniques. For what? Determine whether a process is delivering what the customer wants. Okay? There is a term, variation of output. No two services or products are exactly alike because the processes used to produce them contain many sources of variation. So we cannot have variation of output because there are many sources of variation. Even if the processes are working as intended, which means that the process is in control. Okay? No matter what happens in control, okay, we cannot avoid this variation. We cannot avoid this variation. Very natural. What about performance measurement? Variables. Service or product characteristics that can be measured. Actually, the values of variables are continuous. We can represent them with a decimal point, okay, 10.5, 10.5, 10.75 or something like that. So they are continuous. Okay? On the other hand, attributes, service or product characteristics that can be quickly counted, they are discrete. Okay? Counted. It can be natural numbers. Okay? For acceptable performance. So later on, we are going to consider variable control chart and attribute control chart respectively. Sampling. We can consider complete inspection. We can inspect everything. Okay? But sometimes it's impossible. Okay? We cannot inspect everything. So we can consider sampling plan. In here, sample size, time between successive samples, decision rules that determine when action should be taken. We need to consider sample size, how many samples will be collected. Okay, how often we can measure the samples, collect the samples. Okay, how often can we make a decision? Okay, so we need to decide all of them. In order to consider all of them, we can consider sample mean. Okay, I think that I don't need to explain about this. Okay, so the sum of the observations divided by the total number of observations. Okay. The range is the difference between the largest observation in a sample and the smallest. Okay. The maximum minus the minimum. Okay. The standard deviation is the square root of the variation of a distribution. Okay, you can see this formula. Okay, in this figure, we can see two distributions. One is for the process. The other is for the sample means. Okay, can you tell the difference between them? As you can see, the distribution of sample means has the smaller variance in here. That's why we are considering X-bar control chart. Okay, the smaller variance, the better detection performance. Okay, there are categories of variation. Common cause. the purely random, unidentifiable sources of variation that are unavoidable with the current process. I think that it is similar to variation of outputs, okay? And assignable cause, any variation causing factors that can be identified and eliminated, okay? So they can be eliminated, okay? That's the difference. But this cannot be eliminated, okay? Unavoidable, okay? Like variations of outputs, as I mentioned before. Okay, this is the definition of a control chart. Time-ordered diagram that is used to determine whether observed variations are abnormal. Okay, I think that we are tackling time series data, time-ordered diagram. Okay, and there are a nominal value or center line, upper control limit and lower control limit. Okay, so we can roughly draw a control chart like that. This is UCL, LCL center. Then we can plot the observations in here. Okay. And what's next? Okay, so I need to introduce steps for using a control chart. Take a random sample from the process and calculate a variable or attribute performance measure. Okay, take a random sample, and if a statistic, which is called monitoring statistic, or a sample or an observation and so on. Anyway, if a statistic falls outside the chart control limits or exhibits unusual behavior, look for an assignable cause. That's very crucial. Okay? So if a sample falls outside the chart control limit, like that, okay, UCL, LCL, okay, if you face this situation, okay, look for an assignable cause. Okay, stop the process. And next, eliminate the cause if it degrades performance. Incorporate the cause if it improves performance. Okay, so that's the situation. Reconstruct the control chart with new data. We need to recalculate the upper control limit and the lower control limit and the nominal value, all of them. Okay, reconstruct the control chart with new data. We need to collect new data and calculate the new limits and repeat the procedure periodically. We need to control this situation, right? So repeat this procedure periodically. These are the steps for using control chart. Okay, so if you face this observation, okay, assignable causes are more likely. Assignable causes are more likely. Then we need to stop the process. We need to find some assignable causes, okay? Then after that, we can reconstruct the control limit. You know what I'm saying? However, there is another exception, okay? In this figure, no observations are outside of the control limit in here, but a majority of observations are below nominal value. They are close to LCL. So this is a pattern. This kind of pattern is called run. So if you face a run, okay, take action. Stop the process and find assignable causes. Okay, so we should be cautious about run. In this example, 2 observations exceed control limit. So take action. Okay, stop the process and find the assignable causes. Type 1 error. This is an error that occurs when the employee concludes that the process is out of control based on a sample result that fails outside the control limit when, in fact, it was due to pure randomness. So, which means that the process is in control. But the control chart is saying to us the process is out of control. You know what I'm saying? Okay, this is okay. But the control chart is reporting a false alarm. So this situation is called type 1 error. On the other hand, we can consider type 2 error, an error that occurs when the employee concludes that the process is in control. Okay? When actually the process is out of control. Okay? This is an opposite case, right? So even if this process is out of control, the control chart is saying to us, okay, this is in control. Okay? This is a big mistake. So these are the basic crucial concepts in control chart. So in order to construct the control limit, we need to consider type 1 error. Type 1 error can be given by 0.05, 0.01 or something like that. And then in the X-bar control chart, the standard deviation is known. We can consider this G value. So I explained how to get the G value in R in the first module. Okay, variable control chart, R chart, X-bar chart. R chart measures the variability of the process. X-bar chart measures whether the process is generating output on average consistent with a target value. Okay? And the attribute control chart, P chart, measures the proportion of defective services or products generated by the process. Okay? It is monitoring the proportions. Okay? Okay. And the C chart measures the number of defects, which is based on the Poisson processes, Poisson distribution. P chart is based on the binomial distribution. X-bar chart is based on the normal distribution. Especially considering central limit theorem. Okay, the sample size is enough, maybe 20, more than 20. The X-bar will be approximately normally distributed. Well, that's the central limit theorem, right? So R chart, upper control limit is given by this, lower control limit is given by this. R var is an average of several past R values, okay? And the central line of the control limit, okay? we will see the example and you may understand better, okay? And D3, D4, constants that provide 3 standard deviation limits for the given sample size, which means that D4, D3 are constants. In this situation, okay, D4 times alpha is equal to alpha plus 3 times sigma of R. Okay, so D4 times alpha is equal to alpha plus 3 times sigma of R. Okay, this is they meant in here. Okay, constants that provide 3 standard deviation limits for the given sample size. Okay, so these are the constants which made this situation. Okay, some researchers already calculated the constants in order to simplify this formula. Do you understand? Okay, if we want to calculate sigma of R, R bar, it will be very complicated. So some people already calculated D4 for simplification. So we have this table, D4 here, D3 here, given the sample sizes, right? What about X bar chart? The upper control limit is given by this formula. Okay, X double bar plus A2 times R bar, right? And X double bar, central line of the chart, which can be either the average of past sample means or a target value set for the process. Okay, this is an average, and A2, a constant to provide 3 sigma limits for the sample mean. Okay, which means this equation, this formula is equal to X double bar plus 3 times sigma of X bar. Okay, that's what they meant in here. Okay, so in order to calculate this one, it will be quite complicated. Okay, so they simplify the calculations in here. Some people already calculated A2, the constant. Okay, okay. So in this table, you can see A2. Okay, so given the different sample sizes, we can apply different A2, D3, D4 values to the control chart. So this is the steps to commute control chart. Collect data, compute the range, use table to determine R control chart limit. Plot the sample ranges if all are in control. Proceed to number no. Step 5. Otherwise, find the assignable causes, collect them, and return to step 1. Okay? Calculate X bar for each sample and determine the central line of the chart X double bar. Okay. So, let me put it this way. Okay. So, definitely the samples should pass the R chart test first. Otherwise, we cannot proceed to the X bar control chart test. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Only if we can pass the R chart test, we can move on to X bar control chart test. That's the deal. And in number 6, use table 3.1 to determine X bar control limit. And plot the control sample means if all are in control, The process is in statistical process, statistical control. Continue to take samples and monitor the process. If any out of control, find the assignable causes, collect them, and return to step 2. Okay, this is very important. Today we studied Six Sigma methodologies and control chart. Next time we will delve into variable control chart and attribute control charts. Okay? Thanks for your effort. See you later. Bye bye.